Hey everybody, so I'm here today to talk about Luckiest Girl Alive. This is a movie currently on Netflix and it stars Mila Kunis and it's based off a very popular novel by Jessica Knoll of the same name, which actually I have a copy of that book right now, Luckiest Girl Alive. I read this book about 7 years ago, kind of at the height of its popularity when it was being buzzed around, being talked about as a very popular book and one that you should read. Now, usually when a book gets all that hype, I'm kind of skeptical, but at the same time, I'm very curious to see what it's all about. And I gotta say, when I initially read the book, I was very impressed. I thought Jessica Knoll, who I believe this was her debut novel, just did a wonderful job. She's a very educated writer. She knows her stuff. There were even times where I had to kind of pause and go, okay, and like really think about it because that's just how good I thought the book was. Now that we have the movie, when I initially saw the trailer, I was a little like nervous because it didn't really buy my attention. I wasn't really invested from that initial first look. And then having seen the movie now, there are things about it that are noteworthy, things that I can point out that I liked. But overall, it was not a movie that I was all that impressed with, which is surprising because the screenplay was also written by Jessica Knoll. But I'll get into that in a moment. First of all, I want to say that Mila Kunis is somebody that I find very likable. I think she's just very charming. And I thought, when I heard that she got the part, I thought, okay, this could be a very interesting take. And in case for those of you who are not familiar with what the story is about, Luckiest Girl Alive is about a young woman named Tiffany. She goes by Ani in present day, but Tiffany when she's younger. And basically, we see it kind of from present day. She is this writer. She is somebody who is like really just on top of the world right now. She's got a really wonderful, handsome fiance. She's about to have the wedding of her dreams. She's about to have the job, career, opportunity of a lifetime. So it's almost as if like things can't go wrong until her past kind of creeps up with her. And there's this documentary filmmaker that would like to interview her because there was something that happened to her when she was a teenager that she has never been able to outrun. It's been years since that tragedy happened, except there's something about it that she just can't escape. And understandably, because trauma like that, you can't just ever forget. Many things happened to her. A lot of unfortunate events took place when she was a teen, which I don't want to spoil in case you'd like to read the book or perhaps see the movie. But let me just say that they are devastating and very horrific things that happened to her when she was younger. So this, again, documentary filmmaker comes back into her life or comes into her life with this past event that took place. To speak to her about the things that occurred at that time, which begin to make her life completely unravel. Again, she had this whole life ahead of her, all these future plans until this moment in time really just stops her in her tracks and makes her reconsider some things. So that's kind of the setup of the story. And again, I think Mila Kunis does a really wonderful job here, but there's something about the movie that I just did not connect with. I connected so well with the book, but with the movie, I don't know if it was just that there wasn't enough passion in it. I don't know if it just, for me, wasn't directed the best. There was something that was just giving me pause. And it's not that the acting was bad. There were wonderful performances throughout. It's just, I could not invest myself into this. I was actually very bored. When we were getting to the nitty-gritty, the moments that were very personal, of course I, was looking and watching and trying to be there for the character almost empathically, but I really couldn't invest. I didn't think the movie translated the same way that I really just got enamored by the book. And I believe this is based on, true accounts of the author's actual life. And of course, anything that happens to a victim that goes through certain encounters like this, I try to be very understanding. And of course, watching the movie, I think they're very, intense moments for sure. But just as a whole, I didn't think the movie was all that wonderful. It's not a movie that I'm going to really recommend that you watch. Now, if you're somebody that would like to learn a little bit more about these experiences, and if you know anybody or you yourself have gone through something like it, then maybe there's something about it that you can kind of take away and educate yourself with. But as a whole, it's not something that I think is worth your time. Now, I do think that if you are someone who loves to read, I definitely think you should pick up the book because the source material and the book itself is done very exquisitely. But the movie, it was just okay. It wasn't something I found memorable. It's not something I see myself watching a second time, but I digress. If you are somebody who wants to watch a thriller or things that do have intense moments, maybe check it out if you're bored. Otherwise, there might be something else somewhere that is, streaming that you can find that is a lot better. But overall, again, I think you should read the book, skip the movie. And those are my thoughts. Now, if you have read the book and seen the movie, I'd love to, again, know what you thought about that. What were your thoughts of both of them? If you only happen to watch the movie, what were your thoughts on that? Please leave a comment down below so we can kind of, engage in conversation that way, because I'd really love to know what people thought of both of them or just one. But again, for me, it's going to be a pass on the movie itself.